What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to get into the highly controversial topic of how are black men treated in Warsaw, Poland, or Poland in general, but specifically Warsaw because that is where my current experience is at. And I've only been to a couple other places, mainly a lot of time spent in Krakow, but I'm not really going to touch on that in this video because that was a couple of years ago. Now, one thing I want to say before we get into this video is I'm going to break this video into a couple different sections, and that's going to make sense once we get into the topic at hand. Now, before we get into the topic at hand, make sure to smash the like button. Costs you nothing, means the world to me, really helps me out with the algorithm, and what that means is it will help this video reach the most amount of men as possible. So I would really appreciate if you could do that for me. So with all that said, let's get into the topic at hand. And like I said previously, we're splitting this into a couple different sections, and so the first section is going to be about black men and Polish women, or even you could say Ukrainian, Belarusian women, and there's even some Turkish women here too. Now, so this is going to be based on my experience talking to more than 10 Polish, Ukrainian, Belarusian women. So it isn't hypotheticals, it's not based on one or two experiences, so on and so forth. It's just to give you context on how I've come to this conclusion. And so I asked these women how they felt about black men. And these women ranged between 22 and about 26 years old, and they all said we don't really think about race like that. As long as people are respectful, as long as they're nice, kind, all the standard stuff that you would expect to hear. And I was telling them, hey, you're not going to hurt my feelings. It's for my YouTube channel. I was very upfront. I'm like, come on, I want the truth so that I can share it with my channel. If you don't like black guys, that's fine. And I even was like, we don't even have to talk specifically about you. We can talk about your friends. And then at some point I segued that into, okay, what are your specific thoughts? And so once again, like I said, pretty much all of these women said, yeah, we have no issue with race. We don't really care about black people or not. It's more about what's in the heart, as the typical fairy tale movie says. Okay? But what they did say were a couple interesting things. The first interesting thing was that they find that it might be more of an issue for Polish men when it comes to having different races in their culture, and we're going to talk about that later on in this video. Like I said, that's why I wanted to separate this into two different parts. And so, going back to the Polish women, some of them even were very straightforward and said, oh, I specifically like black men. And so that is something that you should know. So, in general, I would say you might lose maybe 1 point when it comes to SMV, but I wouldn't expect it to be a drastic difference. I think it really does depend on your vibe, the value you provide, and who you are, and how you present yourself. I truly believe that is the most important thing. And there are probably going to be a small minority who are not interested in you. That's just how life is. Boo-hoo. We'll survive. There are so many other options, especially in Warsaw. So I really don't see it being a problem. Now, once again, this is coming from women between the ages of 22 and 26. So it is kind of a small sample size, but I figure most of you are probably interested in that age range. And personally, I've been getting a lot of love from Social Circle and other methods as well. So that kind of goes along with my experience. Now, going back to the other thing. They said that the older generation, in general, for the most part, might be a little bit more racist. And they also said that guys, in general, can be a bit more racist. And that is one of the things that they specifically don't like about Polish men, because they say they're looking for nice, kind guys. And in my previous video, I mentioned on this topic that a few of these women had been with people of color before, and when the Polish guys that they were dating found out, they said, "Oh, I can't be with you because you slept with a black dude or a person of color before." And once again, this is not one isolated case. This was multiple different instances. Now, it's not like 90% of them said this, but it wasn't a small number. So that is something to be aware of. So with that said, I should also say that I personally have not come across any negative experiences based on my skin tone, and I should even say that while the Polish people seem cold, a lot of people have been super friendly, super helpful. People asking me if I need help taking like selfie photos, because obviously I have this and I'm trying to take a photo, and they're like, "Oh, let me do it for you." And I made a mistake on public transport because I never take public transport, and the guy was supposed to, I think, give me a massive fine, and I was like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. And he just charged me the price of the ticket. I mean, he seemed pretty annoyed, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry." I mean, yeah, what can you do? So, especially coming from growing up, I should say, in the United States, if they have an opportunity to fine you, they're probably going to fine you for the most part. Sometimes cops are a little bit more lenient, but point being, I haven't had any negative experiences, and the only time I ran into a person of authority, if you will, they let me off with, I wouldn't say a warning, because I still had to pay my, fare for the public transportation, which I could go in on about public transportation, but I won't do that in this video. And so, yeah, I think we're going to wrap up the video here, and hopefully I'm still working on trying to get one of the women, or maybe a couple of them, to come on video and talk about their experience. But like I said, because it's kind of personal, and I've already told you guys that they've slept with black guys, and other Polish men have judged them for it, I don't know how they're going to feel about coming on camera and talking about their personal business. And I'm not going to lie to them and say, "Oh yeah, I haven't told them anything," because being a man of your word is very important, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, let's wrap up this video. I will see you guys in the next time. If you have any other questions you want to know, because I'm sure I probably missed something, because I'm just kind of spitballing here, then let me know in the comments down below. Smash the like button if you haven't smashed it already, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, you know what I'm gonna say. Peace. Much love. Boom.